Okay, continuing on with BibleWorks setup, the long version. Okay, we had stopped here at buffer word list memory, and I said they remember 5 of them, and you want to have that box checked. Okay, so now we come to the next section, which is command line configuration. The command line is this thing right here. See where I typed the D last time? That thing. That's the command line. Alright. When it says here, enable command line morphology code help. Morphology is a fancy word for changing. The changing ending of a word. Now, you know, if English is not your native language, you know all about morphology really. Because every other language has, in English only a little bit, has endings on its verbs and endings on its nouns to tell you what role that word plays in the sentence, what kind of verb it is, who it relates to, who did it, who it's happening to. And then the case endings tell you subject and object and means and all kinds of other things. When the changes occur in the ending, that's called morphology, the study of the change. You want that code checked, because what they give you is this mishmash, and you have to learn it. Okay, it's been done for centuries. This is how scholars do it. You gotta learn the lingo. They have this lingo of, you know, like NM means noun masculine. Okay, A is active. All right, and if you get the morphology code, what that does is this will spell it out for you, so you get used to what the codes are. I hate this function. I absolutely hate it. I avoid it wherever possible. Okay, but it's a necessary evil. Okay, it's a lot of, you know, lingo to learn that the scholars use. Otherwise, you're going to have trouble reading, especially if you're in seminary. You got to learn this stuff. So check that box. Beep on command line error. That means up here, if you made a mistake, it's supposed to beep at you. Do not check that box. You will go nuts. They even tell you that in the help. Okay, so do not check the box. Okay, enable pop-up command line to disable. Now what this means is that this thing can pop up for you if you want. All right, and you want to have that function. You'll see it happen as you use it, so check that. Then track word list as you type on the command line. Now what that does is that keeps a running tally of every search you do, okay, and it stores right here in the word list. See, that's your word history. This little button here, I haven't gotten to the point about how you configure the button bar. I've already done mine. But that's where that stuff gets stored, and it gets real handy when you were looking for one word. Because in the Bible, what happens is you start on one search, and then 16 other ideas come to your mind as you're reading the next verse. So then you go on 2 or 3 other searches, and then you forget where you were because you just spent an hour and a half chasing down peripheral stuff. So you want something like this word history to remind you where you were. And then you just go back to the search. Unfortunately, I searched on the wrong thing. Oh God, this is going to take forever. It's searching on the word "the." Oh, abort, 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 abort. Okay. Now, when you make a mistake like I just did, it stored like 90,000 pieces of information in this tab 2. This is a really crazy thing you have to do. You have to go to like tab 3, and then you put your mouse on tab 2, you right click and say clear tab 2, and that'll get rid of all the junk. And if you're smart, you're going to get rid of this too. Okay, so I click the minus and I get rid of it. So you don't want to search on and among. Those were all mistakes I made. And in a later video I'll show you how I made those mistakes, because there's a thing in here that makes it easy to screw up. But that's word history, and that's this little button right here. See, word history. So you want that word history to track, or maybe not, depends on your computer. track word list as you type on command line. It's going to store in that word history thing. Every time you type in a word here, it's gonna stick it in this little box here. Okay, now do you want that or not? I don't particularly like it. It's not too hard for me to do the search a second time, but maybe you want that. But I gotta warn you, if you click this box and your computer isn't like one of the latest computers with a bazillion gigabytes of RAM, this is going to slow you down a lot as you use the machine, as you use the program. So generally I would not click that box. Okay. Auto select the keyboard when the version changes. What this means is that, let's say you're in English and then you want to switch to Hebrew. Okay, it's going to change the keyboard for you as soon as you change the version. Like if I wanted to search on Bereshit, alright, and I go say I'm going to search, okay, it's going to do the search. I'm going to abort it. Okay, this is a long story that I don't want to cover right now. Where did it store it? In 3. Okay, so now I have to clear 3 and get rid of it. Okay. But the point is that it automatically switched the keyboard at the same time. So I could have typed in Hebrew if I needed to. But obviously, as you saw, I had to just highlight the word. And it did this search that could have been much longer. Alright, so you want this box, where am I? You want this checked. I mean, these are my opinions. Obviously, you change your mind if you want. Enable BibleWorks keyboard hook. It's the same thing as the mouse thing. If you want BibleWorks to recognize the keyboard, then you want this thing to be checked. Otherwise, this isn't going to work. So if this is checked, then this has to be checked. And then always use English font maps for Hebrew and Greek. The answer is going to be yes, and here I'll show you why. Here is the BibleWorks keyboard. See that little Greek A there? It's kind of hard to see. Alright, you got English, and then you got Hebrew, and then you got Greek. Now, of course, if your native language is in English, you're not going to want to always have it be English. You'll have to like work that out. So you got other languages you could use instead. Okay. So the Greek is keyed to the English keyboard. The Hebrew is keyed to the English keyboard. All right. But if your native tongue isn't English and you're used to your keyboard characters being in a different place, you're not going to want this. Okay. So that's what that means. And again, this is the button for it right here. See the little tooltip? It says BibleWorks keyboard. See, and that's the keyboard layout where you tell it whether you're going to use English or some other language. See, you can use any keyboard default you want. Okay. So, you know, if English is not comfortable for you, then don't check this box. All right, but check it if it is. If that's, especially if it's your native language on which you type. You know, it might not be your native language, English, but it might be the language in which you type most of the time. So that might make it, you know, valid. Okay, command line and verse histories track version change. This is just like this track word list thing. It's going to keep track of all of your searches and all of your inputs. And the more you use the machine, because it's going to keep saving everything, the more you use the machine, the more it's going to slow the machine down. So, you know, that's, decide just how much you really want to do this. Okay. Word history tracks version change, that's the same thing. Okay, we were going through that. Okay, see, this is your word history. Alright. Notice how it'll say words in any language. Okay. If you're Israeli, you might want to use the Israeli keyboard on the command line. You got to check that box if you do. And then enable command line word list pop-up. That's so that you can get your word list to pop up here. Okay? I'm not sure how to do that, but it sounds good. I'll figure out more about how that works later. A lot of these features I've never had to use, so I'm not 100% sure of how good they are. I mean, I've been using BibleWorks since 2001, and a lot of this stuff is just like I never need it. But other people do. Okay, now, here's the next one. Now we're in search window, and you see it says put analysis window under browse window. That's what I've done here. Let me show you. Okay, I'm going to have to move this window down. This is the analysis window. This is the thing that I've always shown you in my videos, but it's like reverse. This is the search window over here, where it's usually on the right in my videos. And then the analysis window is when you're focusing on, like, here's a Hebrew word, Elohim, alright? And in the bottom, that's where the lexicon is, telling you what it means. And you can move the window up or down, see? In a way, it's easier to move than it was in BibleWorks 5. Alright, it's the same, this is the same function. Okay, but when you first installed BibleWorks or first saw it, what you saw, see this check here where it says stack? That's the same thing as what you see on screen now. Now watch when I uncheck the box. That's what you first saw when you installed BibleWorks, 3 columns. I happen to not like that. It's personal choice. Okay, I don't like scrolling. I can't stand scrolling. That's why I can't stand Windows. I mean YouTube, because they make you scroll forever now. So to me, the stacking means that I have to do less scrolling. I can see more of the text width-wise at a go. And that's really important for the lexicons. Okay, see? Now here's an improvement in BibleWorks 8 that I don't happen to like for the reasons you're seeing on screen, but it might be due to the recording. They have this pop-up box of the text, which is flashing too much. Okay? And I don't know why it's flashing the way it is. I think that's because I'm recording. There, see, it's not flashing now. Alright, that's what happens. I don't happen to like that much, but it can be useful, obviously. So every time you see these little green things, and it might not be green in your browser. I think these go by your Windows link colors. Alright? Okay, so, you know, maybe you like that, maybe you don't. I don't know why that's showing up in Greek and Hebrew. That's kind of interesting. But see, you can't, like, you have to keep them, you can't, it's kind of glitchy the way it works, but that could be due to recording. I don't know why that's showing up in Greek. It's showing up in the, okay, look, you see, I haven't gotten to this yet, but I'm going to show you how I make my windows look like this, where it's got more than one, you know, here's the Hebrew, here's the Greek, and then I pick 2 English translations, and then I pick the Latin. No, actually I picked all English for that one. I don't want English. Let's pick basic. In the basic, this is how I do it. And I'm going to show you how to do this, how to create favorites in a later video. Right now I'm just trying to get you through the settings. Okay, but the analysis window gives you those verses, and you have to hold down the shift key in order to keep it stable while you move your mouse. See? And you'll notice how it's giving part of it. It's just giving the first 3 in the same format that it is in the upper window. In other words, if I had it all one translation, I'd be seeing all one translation in this highlight here. And that's very useful. Version 5 didn't have that so easily. It has another kind of thing that I like, but in a way this is a little better. Okay? See? It's showing the first 3. Okay, and this one is particularly long because it's including ode for reasons I don't understand. But I'm not going to ask about that right now. You see? That's kind of helpful. Okay, so you want your analysis window under the browse window like it is now or not. And you check that box. If you don't, You uncheck the box if you don't, you check it if you do. But even if you have it checked, you can undo it right here. Just, okay, I don't want it stacked right now, see? And now it's in 3 columns like it is originally. See, view, stack. So it doesn't really matter what you put here. You can always change it without having to go into these flags that are very arcane and annoying. Okay? Okay, show hidden list box items. I'm really not sure what that is. I just check it. Okay. Sort search window stats by frequency. There is this obsession about a learning system of Greek words in the Bible where you start learning them by the words that are the most frequent. I think that's the dumbest idea I have ever heard. Okay? Because there's no... Why do you need to learn it that way? Why don't you just go through a lexicon or a dictionary in English or your native tongue and highlight all the words you want to learn, up to about 300 of them, and then look them up? Frequency? So I would never sort by frequency. That has a limited use. Like when you want to know how many different ways the word God is spelled, YHWH, the Sacred Tetragrammaton, that can be helpful there. It can be helpful in other ways, but it's very rare. If you want it, have at it. I find it's dumb. Okay. Enable context menus in search window. Yes, you want that. Okay? That means that when you're going here, you're going to get this little thing. Okay? That's called a context menu. Why is it called a context menu? I don't know. That's what it's called. You know, they give these names to things. Okay? So yeah, you want that. Now this is really important. Okay? It's arcane, so you just have to memorize what this is. Use 4.0 style limits window in button bar. You want to check that. Here's why. See? Search. Set search limits. This is what the 4.0 button bar option looks like when it's checked. Right here. That's what this is. Okay? I can't, check it again now because it's on. See? Everything's all on one page. No scrolling. Okay. If you don't check it, here's what you get. This is so dumb. You have to scroll. See, first of all, you have to say limit, and then you have to scroll all the way down all these books and uncheck each one. It takes you 16 times longer to specify just certain books you want to search. I don't know who wanted this. Okay, now see, you can still select only the Old Testament. You can clear them all, only the Old Testament, clear them all, only the New Testament, clear them all, and Apocrypha, and clear them all. Or you can say don't apply any limits. Or see, the trouble is you've just wiped out all your boxes. Alright? Don't apply any limits to the search. Okay, but see, now all of your boxes, I have no idea what went wrong. All of your boxes are empty, so I don't know if the search is going to work. Okay? But fortunately for me, oh no, see, I undid it. That was dumb. Now I have to redo it. So we go Tools. See, certain features in this program are really annoying. But, okay. Search limits. But I have to go back to Option Flags, or Flags. Then I have to go to Search Window, and I say, see this thing? Use 4.0 style. See? Okay. Now, search, set search limits. Now see, what happened is I lost all of my check boxes. Okay? But see, it's all on one page. I don't have to do any scrolling. So I can say select all, clear Apocrypha. There now I've got the Old Testament and the New, or clear all, select Old Testament, only, and I could select clear it all and just select the New Testaments, you see? But I don't have to scroll, I can just check them. It's really annoying to check the boxes, so it's really even more annoying if you got to scroll too. That is what it means when it says, I'm going to say select all, and then OK. This is what it means when it says, I have to say OK first. OK, tools, options, this flag thing. OK, search. See, it says 4.0. That's what stopped the scrolling. See, 4.0. And then I went up here and set search limits, and you get this cute little box. Believe me, you're going to wish you had done that. If you have to resort to that scroll thing after 2 or 3 times you've done it, you're going to be kicking the machine. Okay? So you check that. See? 4.0, check it. Alright, next one. Save search window state when switching results. Yes, you want to do that. Because, see, here is a result window. Okay, wait a minute. Here's the result window here. See this thing? That's the result window. You do a search, and all your results are going to show on the left-hand side. In my videos, you see it show on the right-hand side. They moved it. Totally annoying to me, but that's my problem. Okay, this same one where all these tabbies are, that's called your results window. Okay, you want to make sure, okay, that you save the state when you switch to result windows, because result window 1, tab 10, is going to have your search that you did that resulted in tab 10. Ignore that funky little thing that's showing up there. I have no idea what it's saying. Tab 9, okay, is a different search. Tab 5 is a different search. Okay, but you got the search results, but when you close BibleWorks, it's going to save all that. Okay, if you don't make it also remember the search window state, then you're not going to remember what the search was for. Okay, so you want to check that. Include hits when saving context. I can't tell you how important that is. In other words, let's say you search on YHWH. There are like 5,700 occurrences of the sacred tetragrammaton in the Old Testament, which tells you immediately that everybody spoke the sacred name because it's used in speech. A lot of those uses of the YHWH are in speech, one person talking to another, like Moses talking to Caleb or whatever. Okay? You want to save those hits because when you're going back to an old search, instead of you having to do it again just to find out how many occurrences there are, you can save the hits. See? Include hits when saving context. Yes, checks that box. Okay. Convert JPEG graphic to BMP on first use. I think they're doing that to save space. My computer, the BMP file actually takes up more space than the JPEG, but some people, I guess it's the other way around. I don't have it checked, but you might want it checked. Maybe you have trouble with JPEG files. Some people do. Okay, automatically save and load search window tab contexts. What this means is these little tabbies, whatever's in them, are going to save every time you shut down BibleWorks. And trust me, you want that. Because you're going to forget. Or at least I do. Okay. Show morphology translation in search window words list. Again, that was like what we saw before. They're going to give you these little codes like N, M, and A, I. And it's like, well, what was the A now? What was the I now? This thing will translate what the codes mean. So you want that. Okay, like I said, I try to avoid morphology searches or even looking at that stupid thing. I just look at the text and figure it out. But, you know, you have to learn this lingo. Okay, use long version identifiers where possible. Now, here's what that means. See this? This is VU all. That means Vulgate Online. You'll get used to the acronym after a while, but until you do, you could use a long version identifier where it'll spell out the word Vulgate online. The trouble is that's going to take up a lot more space here. Okay? A lot more space on your computer. So I prefer just give me the abbreviations and I'll learn them the hard way. So I don't check that box. Okay. This one's real important for searches. Inverse plus text mode display form. Now you've seen me do this a lot in my videos, where I've taken a word like here. I'll highlight the word and then I'll do a search. Okay, if this box is checked, I'm not only going to get Bereshit, I'm going to get all of the forms of bara. That's the Hebrew verb. In other words, I'm going to get all of the morphologies, all of the forms in which the verb occurs in the Bible, which is generally speaking what I'm going to want. Because you learn from the Bible its meaning from the Bible itself. That's the most important thing to know. Bible is self-auditing. It is self-interpreting. Yes, you listen to your friends. Yes, you listen especially to pastors and teachers and scholars. But in the final analysis, you test everything you hear, including what you think it means, with the Bible. And to do that, you need to do a lot of word searches. Now, word searches aren't the only kind of way to interpret. That's one tool in your toolkit, and you got like 100 tools to use. And for that, I would recommend you get Douglas Stewart's Old Testament Exegesis and D.A. Carson's Exegetical Fallacies. Those are two really good books I got at Amazon. They're real small books, they're real pithy, they get right to the point, and they act like little checklists. The things you need to remember when you're, studying a passage. They're real good. Okay, so this will give you all of the word searches on that word, all of the forms in which the word occurs. So yes, you check that box. Yes, yes, yes. And all the forms will show up here in the result window, in whatever tab you searched, whatever tab storing your search results. Okay, you'll see it highlighted, and you've seen me do that in the videos. Okay, let's see, can I do that now? Let's make sure that I set my search limits. We're just going to search a few books, because otherwise it'll take forever. We'll just search the first 3 books of the Old Testament. Okay, and now I'm going to do the search, and I'm going to search for the phrase. That's going to do an exact search. That's not going to search for all the forms. Okay? See, now, the Leningrad is what the BHS text comes from. See, this is what I mean by those codes. Okay, look at this. This just drives me nuts. NFSASXXXX. I have no idea what that says. I've never bothered to learn it. One day I'll have to. If I was in seminary, I'd have to. Now, I'll just look at the word and I'll figure out what it is. See, because you can put your mouse over the word and watch. Let me show you. See, I can put my mouse over this and see where it says. It tells you right away what it is. Now, sometimes they make typos, so you can't just go by this all the time. But see, I don't want to learn all this. I can just do this and I can know what it is, okay? Pretty much. Not all the time. Okay? So, that's what a search will do. Is it'll reveal all of these, and there's really, in this particular case, there's only one occurrence. I don't like those pop-ups, but anyway. You see? And then it stored the result in this tab 6. It so happened that I'm searching on one form of it, okay? What you want to do, and I don't know if they'll let me do this. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Okay? It's not letting me search on what's called the lemma. It's not letting me search on the root. Okay? So then I would have to find the word bara and just search on that. Okay? Bereshit bara, I'm sorry. Bereshit means beginning. I was reading the wrong word. Okay, let me just search on this. Okay? It's saying phrase. It's not letting me search just on the lemma. Alright, let's see, that gave me a little more variation. Okay, but see, it's only searching on bara. I don't know how to get it to search on the morphology. It's not doing what I'm telling you it will do. So I'll just have to figure that out later. It's supposed to, maybe it only occurs those 3 times in the same form in those 3 books. Okay, but it's supposed to give you all the forms. That's why you check that box. Okay, the next one is mouse hints. Let's just clear this so I don't confuse you too much. No, I don't want to clear tab 7. Clear tab. I don't want to clear tab 5. This is really annoying. Clear tab 6. Yeah, just clear it. Alright. So now we're down here, show mouse hints. Alright, if you click this, here's what happens. Every time your mouse is on something, it's gonna, or on something that's, they want to give you a hint about. Maybe it's not going to work because I haven't clicked OK yet. But basically what's going to happen is you get all these annoying pop-ups about how to use your mouse. Now if you're very new to BibleWorks, you might like that. I can't stand it. But if you want mouse hints, then click that. Okay? This one, enable verse list checkboxes. Here's what that does. Oh, I have to actually hit OK to make this happen. Okay. If I search on, let me try to find, there's very few words in here that aren't common. Let's try bara and see if I can get the form. Okay. It's not letting me search only on the root. This is BibleWorks 5 was really cool. You got to differentiate between whether you were searching for the phrase or on the root, and it's not letting me do that. Wait a minute. It's not letting me do that in BibleWorks 8. That's sad. That's something that is not good. You used to be able to search just on the root. Let's see if it's going to actually do that. All right. No, it's only showing the exact phrase. And then you get this stupid thing. I don't like that. Cross-version search results. It's telling you how many occurrences in each of the versions. Alright? Well, see, it's only showing bara. It's not showing the actual form. So it's doing the opposite of what I told you it would do. That's not good. Okay? So we go back here to search. Text will display form for morphology versions. Let's uncheck it and do the search again. No, I want to clear tab 7. Get rid of all these extra windows I don't need. Okay. And okay, so see, it's the opposite. The logic. Let's go through that so you know not to make the mistake I just made. If you check that box, you will not get all the forms of the morphology. Logic would say that if you check the box, you would get all the morphologies. The text sounds like that's what it means when you read it in English. But it's the opposite. If you check this box, you will not get all the different forms. Because look, I wasn't able to do that until I unchecked the box. See, now I get lemma. Watch. Okay, you see you got a whole bunch of verses. See, here's the number of hits at the bottom. There are 9 verses, 10 forms, 12 hits, 9 seconds. Okay, cross-version search results, which is like, why do you care? And then for some reason we're getting this little extra pop-up window too. Why? I guess it's just maybe because I triggered automatic secondary windows. Okay, fine. But the point is, and see where I was getting at, sorry this is taking so much time. Alright, see here, our next our next concept was verse list box. See, enable verse list checkboxes, and we had checked that yes. Here's what happens. You see all these little boxes here, see? You got a little checkbox, another checkbox, another checkbox. The point of this, and it can be very annoying, is if you wanted to send to your word processor only certain of these verses, then you want these little checkboxes there so you can uncheck the ones you don't want being exported. Okay, frankly, I found, I've been doing this for so long, it's better to just export them all, and then when you're reformatting them in your word processor, just delete the verses you don't want. Okay, so I would say no to that. See, enable verse list checkboxes. Now I'm going to uncheck it. Now watch what happens. Look in the left window where that big blue square is. Watch what happens. The checkboxes are all going to disappear. See? It disappeared. Okay? And we also want this to disappear, but to make it disappear, I have to... It's really a crazy way to do things. You should be able to clear the active tab. Okay. So where are we? And we're going to take a break. That's where we are. We'll come back.